Hi everyone. So today we are going to look at this question 180 consecutive numbers. Let's go through the question description. So there's a table called log and it has two columns ID and num. So we have to find all numbers that appear at least 3 times consecutively and then we have to return the result in any order. So this is one of the sample data in the table, and we can see in this table that there are only one candidate which satisfies the criteria. So basically the number with the ID 1, 2 and 3, they are consecutive with respect to the ID and the number is matching for those IDs. In the question it's mentioned consecutively. The number has to belong to the consecutive IDs. So let's try to code it. I'm going to try different approach in order to find out the solution. So the simplest solution I can think of is using the self join between the table. So this is approach 1. So in this approach I'm going to do the self join on this table logs, and we can use the same table but give different alias so that we can have 3 tables in the select clause. And in the condition part, it according to the question we have to match we have to make sure that the IDs are consecutive. So in order to do that we can so if I add 1 to the ID 1 it will become 2, and if I add 1 in the ID 2 it will become 3. So that's how we are going to first find out the consecutive record, and then we have to match the respective number between these 3 ID. So this will be L2 dot ID, and I'm going to write here, and the second condition would be L2 dot ID plus 1 equal to L3 dot ID. The next thing is we have to compare the respective numbers. So L1 dot num equal to L2 dot num, and then L2 dot num equal to L3 dot num. So and once all the condition satisfies, then we have to just pick up the number. So while picking up the number, we can pick the number from any one of the tables. So I'll just do the L1 dot num as and I'll give this alias to this column, and let's see if this is running or not. Alright, so this is working fine for the given example, and okay, so if there are more than one repeat, like more than 3 repetition, then it will show the number that many times. So if I just put the distinct here, it's gonna solve that problem and it should run for all the test cases. Okay, let's go back to the question and let's try to solve this using correlated query. So first is I'll just name this as a self join approach, and I'm going to comment out these. And the second approach is correlated query. So I'll just query on the table and give a alias to this table, and then I will check if the following condition exists or not in the subquery. So the following condition is select star from the same table, but we'll give a different alias L2, where L1.id plus 1 is matching to L2.id and L1.num equal to L2.num. So this is for the second occurrence of the number, and we have to put very similar query for third occurrence and use another exist. So correlated query is basically it's a nested for loop, and the inner query runs for the record from the outer query. So I'm verifying this condition two times, one for the second occurrence and one for the third occurrence. Let's change this to 2, and we also have to change the alias here. And since we are again checking the second set of condition from the main outer query, we have to compare with the L1 table. So L1 ID plus 2, because if we just skip the second occurrence, then we have to add 2. And if both the condition satisfies, that would be my answer. And let's just copy it from here. Okay, hopefully this should run. No, I have to change this one as well. L3.num. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so it ran fine. Let's run it for all the test cases. Okay, so this solution is also accepted. So this was my approach to using the correlated query. Now I'm going to solve the same problem with another approach, which is using the window function. And alright, so I'm going to use the same table, remove all the stuff from the select, and using the window function I'm going to use the lead function, so that I'll be comparing the current record with the next record, and then again current record to the next record. So let's see how that will work out here. So I'm going to select the ID, and then case when ID plus 1 equal to lead of ID by 1. I have to increase by 1, and then I have to sort the data based on the ID. And then I also have to compare the number. So the number will be equal to the number lead of number, and then again we have to go one record ahead by using the same condition over order by ID. So this is just to verify between the first record and the second record, and now we have to put another condition to verify first record with the third record. So I'm going to copy the same query and change it or increase the offset by 2. Okay, so if this satisfies, then let's call it yes, else no, and as flag. We can name this column as flag. Let's make it more readable. Okay, So once I decided that the current record satisfies this criteria and flag that record as a solution, then let's write another query on top of it. Call this table as like temp, where flag equal to yes, and we will copy this id as the consecutive nums. I think this is the solution. Let's check if this is running or not. Nice, so this also ran and is working for the given example. Let's run it for all the test cases, and it failed. Why is that? 1 2 3. Okay, so I have to use the num, not the id, and change this to num. Let's run it again, and it's not working. Okay, so similar mistake, make this as distinct. The issue we found with our approach 1, so now it should work for all the test cases. Okay, so it's working for all the test cases. So let's recap a couple of things for this problem. I tried to solve this problem using 3 approach. One is like self join. You can keep joining the same table with itself and put the condition in the where clause. The second was correlated query, which is very similar to nested for loop. So you run the inner query for one of the record for the outer query and so on. That is also a good approach. And then the third approach is using the window function. So basically we are comparing the current record with the next record using the lead window function. And then while comparing it, we have to make sure that data is sorted based on the id, so that we will comparing the relevant record. And that's all we have to do. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Please subscribe if you like the video.